Hi there, this is Justin Krane, certified financial planner professional and founder of Krane Financial Solutions. Welcome to Money You Got This. So how can you really live? How? By uniting your business money, your personal money with your life and your business. Word up.
Krane Financial is an SEC-registered investment advisor. However, such registration does not imply a certain level of skill or training, and no inference to the contrary should be made. A copy of our current written disclosure statement discussing our advisory services and fees is available upon request. Information contained herein is for informational and illustrative purposes only, and general in nature. It should not be considered specific financial planning or investment advice, or a recommendation to buy or sell any type of securities or other investment products.
Hey everyone, welcome to Money You Got This. This show is brought to you by Krane Financial Solutions. I'm Justin Krane. I'm a certified financial planner professional. We offer investment management services and financial planning for entrepreneurs. I'm also the author of the book, Money You Got This. It's a fun book. It's a great read. I'm psyched you're listening to the show. I want to give you this free report, 3 things multimillionaires do to grow their wealth. Just go to coolmoneyshow.com to grab it. That's coolmoneyshow.com to grab it. Thanks. Anyways, I have a very, very special guest today. She is 100% awesome. And wait until you hear like her whole story. It's insane. It's freakazoid insane. Leeatt Rothschild is the founder and CEO of Packed with Purpose, a corporate gifting company that creates deep societal impact through the act of everyday gift giving. From empowering under-resourced women with job skills to supporting sustainability efforts. Packed with Purpose. I love that name. Like I woke up this morning packed with purpose. I love it. Enables companies from Fortune 500 companies to nonprofits to create, here's the kicker, social impact while positively influencing their business across employees, clients, and other stakeholders. So Leeatt has experienced insane growth with PWP. Gnarly insane, like 28% growth in the last 3 years. When I wrote her bio, which was this morning, she was ranked 149 in Inc.'s 5,000 fastest growing companies. She's now #1 in the last half hour. She's moved up the charts. Crazy. Leeatt, welcome.
Thank you, Justin. What an intro. It's so nice to be here.
Great. Okay, so listen, here's the deal. Everyone listening, you cannot check out because this woman, the amount of stuff that she has done is wild. Like, I didn't even read her bio. Let me just go right into the first thing. Can we just talk about the Peace Corps? Like, you go to college, you go to Wharton, you kill it there, right? And then you're like, I'm not going into business. I'm going to go to the Peace Corps.
Well, so Wharton I actually did after, but yes, I went
Wesleyan.
to college.
Sorry, Wesleyan.
Yes, Wesleyan. Yes. So went to college and then I decided to join the Peace Corps and it was an amazing experience. I feel like, I always said that my service as a Peace Corps volunteer would be the most impactful years of my life until I had kids. And that is absolutely still true. Okay.
So if you ask me, Justin, like, where is Paraguay on the map? I'd be like, I don't know, it's off Main Street somewhere in like South America. So what happened in Paraguay? Like, what was the deal there?
Well, let me
How
just
amazing
say,
was it?
I love that you say that because what I oftentimes tell people is Paraguay is the country that people have, barely heard about. They could never locate it on the map. So Paraguay is a landlocked country in South America. And I was in a small village of about 125 homes. And I worked with them to produce an alternative income generating business through vermiculture. So basically taking worms and cow poop and producing an amazing high quality fertilizer that they could use in their fields and also sell as, a product to gain income.
Wow. I was just talking about fertilizer this morning with my friends and we did talk about worms, but we stopped the conversation right there.
Okay.
So this show is about money, life, and business. So you're going from college where you do really well and you're like, you know what? I want to go to the Peace Corps. I don't really need to make gobs of money yet. But talk about the financial aspect of that. Was that even a thought for you about it?
So my motivation in joining the Peace Corps, I would say one, after college, maybe some people know what they want to do. I did not know I was passionate about one particular area.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I knew I was driven by doing good. I knew I loved, being a world traveler, and I liked new experiences and cultural exchange. So I actually took a year off between high school and college, and I lived in Mexico for a year as a Rotary Youth Ambassador. So I already had a taste of, extreme adventure and living in foreign countries. So the Peace Corps just amplified that because it's so different. And so the financial aspect, from everyone that I'd spoken to, it wasn't about how much money I would make or would not make. It was about the experience I was going to gain as a young 22-year-old at a time in my life when there would be no other, work or occupation that would give me that life experience.
Yeah, that's so huge. So your parents are Israeli, right?
My parents are
You grew
Israeli.
up. You grew up in Milwaukee, right?
Well,
you live in Chicago.
I was born in Milwaukee. Then at a certain point, we moved to Chicago.
Okay, so what is the temperature today? About 5 degrees or something?
Oh, it's actually, we're at the end of March, so it's beautiful. It's like 40 plus degrees.
Oh my God! Everybody listening, move to Chicago immediately. You don't have to play with worms if you go there. Just go there. All right. So, your parents are from Israel, and let me tell you, like, I'm in LA. I know like 5 million Israeli women. Don't mess with Israeli women. They are 100% determined. They are serious, bold, and just powerful. So let's talk about that. What did you learn from your parents growing up? And I know you went on that road trip from Chicago to Mexico. I know you used to do those and you didn't fly. I know all about that.
Yeah.
But
amazing.
what have you learned that you've brought into your business? And I know you do a lot with women as well, supporting women. So I'm curious, what have you learned from them? And the two-parter is, how are you modeling that for your twins and your kids?
Yeah. Good question, Justin. So I think what I learned from my parents, or the greatest gift that they gave me, was having a sense of confidence that I could figure it out. Even if I didn't know, what this thing was, or even if there were huge obstacles in front of me, that I had the wherewithal, that I had the resources, that I could ask people to figure it out. And I think that's what I learned from them, because I've done a lot of things, including starting a business where I didn't know a lot about most aspects of the business. And I feel like, by extension, the thing that I would love to impart to my 4 kids is just have the confidence, and you will thrive.
And how old are they now?
My oldest is 8. I have twin boys that are 6, and my youngest is just over 2.
So is the 8 and 6-year-olds, are they at a level where they can kind of get a little bit of that? I mean, I know that they like knowing that you're your own boss, but how can you teach them, or are they too young for that yet?
Oh, I mean, it's amazing. One of my 6-year-olds, he asked me, he's like, so you started Packed with Purpose? And he uses the word like, you made it.
Yeah.
And so for him, he's very creative, and for him, he's really excited about having this idea or having something and like bringing it to life. So he's reflecting back to me that he's not too young.
I love it. That's so cool. All right. So now I want to get into like the cool stuff. So I'm going to just mishmash it all together.
Yeah.
You did your, you got a BA in psychology, then you went to Wharton, then you came out, you worked a little bit in marketing, and then you did some advisory work, and you worked with companies and helped them with their corporate social responsibility, and they had to fill their budgets and ROI and all of that. And then you started Packed with Purpose, right, in 2017, and you grew massively over COVID. But what I want to talk about is this idea that you had, because you took your experience from these other areas and then went with something and just went for it, not knowing a lot about it. And I know that you discussed this with your friends, like you ran ideas by them and you tested it from them. I think the coolest part of this is you had this idea and you went for it based on the work that you did in these other areas. Let me just talk about that for a minute. I want everyone listening that if you have an idea and you think it's good, you can go for it, even though you don't have all of your ducks in a row.
Yeah. And another woman entrepreneur used this term and I love it. She said, dream out loud. And I feel like as soon as I had the idea of Packed with Purpose, I couldn't stop dreaming out loud. And I'll set the scene for when I had that epiphany of like, wait, this is a good idea. So like you said, I was advising chief sustainability officers, helping them take their corporate social responsibility dollars to have a business return, but also societal impact. It was a freezing day in Chicago in December. Our office was littered with a whole bunch of corporate gifts. So popcorn and pears and fruits and brownies and cookies. And I just had this feeling of like, how is it that companies are spending, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that we use as the transactional exchange of appreciation and gratitude and, don't forget about me. It's totally devoid of any kind of social impact. And so I just had this feeling of like, can we make a better gift that companies feel really proud to give to their employees, to their clients, to whoever it might be? And I couldn't stop. Once I had the idea, I was like, oh, wait, I'm going to keep talking about this and just dreaming out loud. And it went from a crazy idea to, a large business that is bigger than I would have ever, I ever thought it would be 5 years ago when I started it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so cool that when you take an idea, A, that resonates with you, B, that has something unique where you can use your own unique ability in doing things and it works. It's the best feeling. I mean, it's the best.
Yeah. I feel like you feel like you're living your best life, right? It doesn't feel like work. You're bringing your passion to life in a way that is not heavy, but effortless.
Yeah. I mean, I see so many entrepreneurs that are just kind of getting by or doing something that they're competent in that's not amazing. They're not lit up and they just kind of coast. And then when they're in their 50s or 60s, they're looking back and they're like, where's the meaning for me? And sometimes they find the meaning outside of their business. And for you, you found it in your business and outside of your business. So let's talk about the financial part of it, because that is what I do. And it's what a lot of our audience likes to listen to and get feedback from. So when you started this business, talk about the financial aspect of it. Did you just put a bunch of money in from saving from your other jobs in, and you just kind of started it that way? Did you bootstrap it? Did you get loans? How did you do it?
Yeah. So I would say the first thing was, it wasn't even a bunch of money. And, looking back, at least for me, I didn't realize how much money it would take, right? As soon as we start to grow, as soon as we grew, we needed money for inventory, right? Like once we hit certain thresholds, I didn't have that money in the bank to buy that much inventory. But in the beginning, it was, well, I need a little bit of money for a graphic designer for the logo. I need a little bit of money for a developer to help me create the website. I need a little bit of money to, play with Google ads and pay-per-click. But it wasn't a ton of money. And then as we grew, there's more demand. With more demand means I've got to get more inventory. And so then I, established a banking relationship, got a line of credit. I still don't have any outside investment. So I've really fueled the growth of the business with the revenue, that we've generated.
I love that. Okay. This is a side note. This is a rant. This is just a random rant. It is part of the show, but I'm talking to you like we're just hanging out. Like, I don't know. I feel like I got a good connection with you. You're from Israel and I've been there and I'm going back. You watch Shark Tank. All these people come on. They're looking for money. Their idea isn't great. Their business model isn't great. And they're looking to raise money or borrow money when if their product was so good and they could make sales, they wouldn't need the money.
Yes, I agree with you. I also would say, like, in the beginning, you're making so many mistakes and you're trying things out. And so you need a little bit of money. I mean, at the very beginning, when I made my first prototype, I spent $99 and got a really bad logo, but it was just something to get me started. Yes. So you can do it really scrappy, but it's sort of to have like your first prototype to try something. But then at a certain point, you need a little bit of money to start to see, like, even if it's little things like, developing the website, even if it's on Shopify, you need to be paying for that. So I
Yes.
think that, you can do things in a scrappy way. You're going to need some money, even if you do it as scrappy as possible.
Yeah.
You get a free CRM. You're using, tools that are readily available that don't cost a lot. But then as you grow, suddenly as you want to play with what drives the business, how can I drive more leads? How can I, optimize certain things? You suddenly realize, oh, I need to access cash. So whether that's making sure that your clients pay you faster, you have better terms with your vendors, you're pricing your products right? Like, I'm saying this because I've learned a lot, and there's still so much more I'm going to learn, in the years to come.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, yeah. So I do think it's okay for people to borrow some money, but I see these people on Shark Tank borrow like a gazillion dollars for like nothing because they're in debt. But let's talk about the management of cash, because it's something that I just love. So how do you deal with that? Like, how do you what kind of system have you set up to track cash on, let's just say, a monthly basis?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would say, I think every person should know their own strengths, and whether you are very good at, numbers and accounting and cash management, what systems you need, what people you need. And so I knew that managing cash, managing the operations of the business was paramount to success, more so than telling the stories of impact behind our gifts and, creating these amazing gift boxes. So some of the systems that we've put in place, and again, we've evolved with time, but, obviously setting ourselves up with a financial, software. So we're on QuickBooks.
Sure.
We now are integrated with Bill.com. We're looking at our company's financials in detail in terms of cash on a weekly basis. Was I doing this in the beginning? Definitely not. So I guess to all the entrepreneurs or business owners, leaders, I feel like it's an evolution, and the faster you can get to a place where the cash needs of your business, the better you will be at running your business, at making smarter decisions.
That's great. I love that you're doing it weekly. That's awesome. Good for you.
I mean, as I said, weekly, Justin, I was like, you know what? There's some companies that, depending on who they are, they need to be doing it daily.
Yeah.
And we're very seasonal. So in Q4,
Yeah.
we are looking at things, more on a daily basis. But yeah, every business is different.
So talk to us about the growth of your business, right? So as you grow, you have to make some investments. Let's just go with employees. I think you have, how many do you have now?
Well, so we actually just, we just unfortunately parted ways with a number of employees, but it was the right thing to do because we grew so much with COVID. And, because companies were flush with PPP dollars. They were concerned about the Great Resignation. They were sending gifts to their employees that suddenly were working from home, weren't coming to the office. So with all of that spend, with all that cash, we saw a huge influx in demand. And so in order to meet that demand, we, doubled our team. So now we're back down to the numbers that we had in terms of team members, back to the numbers we had in 2020. But it's actually great because we're working smarter and more efficiently, using systems to do that, and not necessarily just bringing people in to solve those problems.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is you ramped up, during COVID,
so
and then you became more efficient and let some of them go. One of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs as they approach 7 figures and get to multiple 7 figures is people and staff, and understanding the connection between labor and sales, whether you're in an inventory business like yours, or you're a law firm that has paralegals. So can you talk to us a little bit about just the hiring process, and how you did it? Were you freaking out about hiring people, or you're like, look, I did worms in Paraguay, I can do anything?
I do sometimes. I don't think I did worms in Paraguay, but I think of something very similar, which is I learned Guarani, which is the indigenous language of Paraguay.
There you go.
It's like, if I could figure out how to learn Guarani, I'll be able to figure out anything. So very, very close. No, I don't think hiring people, that never freaks us out, or never freaked me out. I think looking back now, I realize, oh, there's different ways to hire. You can hire full-time, you can hire part-time, are there business needs that you need to cross-train people on? Is a seasonal business for us, talking about staffing and the impact on cash. For customer support becomes very demanding for us,
Sure.
like any other retailer in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah.
And then it sort of wanes, the number of customer tickets or customer needs wanes. And so it's thinking about, do we need someone full-time? Might this be an opportunity to either bring someone on contract to support, an influx of demand, and or cross-train team members who have the time or availability to work on, supporting customer needs, which obviously impacts cash because you might not be hiring as many people.
So when you did this round of layoffs, we'll call it that, or whatever, people leaving, did you look at what you were spending for labor and be like, oh, we're spending X, we need to get it to X minus 30% or whatever the number is? Did you go through that, or did you go more with a gut, like, we should probably lay off 3 people?
I did it more in terms of looking at revenue coming in and knowing that, we're at March of 2023. There's so much uncertainty, right? Some people are like, we're in the recession. The recession is coming. No, the recession is next year. No one knows how this year is going to play out, right? Every few weeks, people don't even know if the Fed is going to raise interest rates. So, for me, it was, there's still so much uncertainty in terms of how the economic environment will shake out, which will have a direct impact on companies' budgets not being frozen, companies hiring employees, or companies having more, cash that they want to spend in, building client relationships and their prospecting gifts or their employee onboarding gifts. So for me, it was knowing this uncertainty and the revenue that I believe is sort of baseline that we can expect. What's the commensurate expenses that I can feel comfortable with? And we've got the additional wrinkle of being, a seasonal business where we have sales all year round, but it really spikes in the fourth quarter because corporate America, somehow someone wrote a manual that was like, send gifts in over the holidays, which, by the way, send gifts not during the holidays because they'll really stand out and they'll catch the attention of your employees and your prospects and your clients when you're not competing with everyone else.
I love that. So for those of you listening, please hit pause right now and go back and listen to Leeatt's answer. That answer was so good. And just give yourself permission to just listen and be present to what she just said. That was gold. All right. Now that you've come back from rewinding, let me just ask one more question about the money, and then we'll go on to all of the gift. I have like a bunch of questions on everything else. So when you're looking at the numbers and the money in your business, so you've got sales, you've got cost of goods sold, you've got gross profit, you've got overhead, and then you've got net income. Are you looking at the gross profit number? Like, are you looking at your cost of goods sold and say, hey, maybe we need to buy all this stuff cheaper, or maybe we need to sell it at a higher price? Are you looking at your overhead? Where is your, I'm just curious, like, where are you focusing now?
So I would say all of that, with the caveat that we're really, there are the 2 biggest line items that drive the success of the business, or that, impact our P&L, is everything related to cost of goods and shipping and fulfillment, and then our people costs. And so our cost of goods and shipping and fulfillment is variable based on the number of gifts that we ship. And our people costs are fixed. And so that was the one line item that I knew I had to and could impact, and had to, part of it is like, you have to rethink how you can get the same amount done, or focus on priorities that will really drive the business with less people.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. So you did say the word impact. So now I want to talk about impact, because I know that's such a big part of your business. I'm just curious, like for me, and this is a mindset thing that I'm not great at, and it's a belief that I need you, literally, I want you to coach me on my own show about listening about this impact. I'm one person. I wrote a book. I want it to be a legacy for me. Obviously I want it to be a long-term legacy. But when I think about impact, I'm like, how much impact can I really have? how much impact can I have? Can I impact 10 people? Can I impact 100? Like, and I've listened to you, and you're so big on this point about impact. So coach me on this. I'm vulnerable. I'm like, this is my show, but people think like this. I'm not the only one that thinks like this. Oh, how many people can I really help? How many lives can I impact? So talk to us, talk to me, but talk to everybody.
Okay, well, the first thing I would say is even the people that talk about having a big impact, we also can, sort of get in our own way. So let me say that, like, I'm not here professing because I know everything. I just feel like I need to say that.
Yeah.
Now that I've said that, I guess going back to my time as a Peace Corps volunteer, one of my biggest takeaways from that experience, I lived in 125 homes, and I knew that my impact was confined to the number of homes in my village, but I could have had a bigger impact if I was, working with more people. And so I left that experience, with a really strong inner compass of wanting to do good, using whatever innate skills, professional skills I have to create more good in the world, and really wanting to make that as broad as possible. And so, I mean, how much impact can you have? For me, as the founder and CEO of Pact with Purpose, every social enterprise, every purpose-driven company that we work with, the more we buy from them, the more impact we enable them to do. So the more, it's like the more gifts I sell, the more good I can do, and it's limitless. And the more gifts we sell, right, the more clients that get to know about us, and the more they are excited that the gift, they're going to spend money on a gift anyhow, but now they get to spend money on a gift that also is providing, youth in Chicago that are survivors of gun violence an opportunity to work through their trauma and to get paid to, emerge on the other side, or to buy granola from a social enterprise in Washington, D.C. that's helping women who are survivors of domestic abuse stand on their own 2 feet and, regain financial stability. So for me, it's like, it is so easy to think about the impact being bigger than myself because I'm not focused on me. It's the more gifts that we can ship means I can buy more products from all of these amazing organizations that are doing good. And they're the ones that are providing all of these amazing services, or they're, positively impacting the environment. So if you are walking around in tunnel vision, sort of poo-pooing yourself on like, well, how much impact can I really have? I feel like I don't know, you sort of have to think about a different mental model of, well, how many people could I positively impact? It's not like, why is it so constrained?
Yeah, the ripple. I got that. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I have all these other notes. All right, let's just go with this one. Like, let's just talk psychology for a little bit. Like, you got a BA in psychology, and I did hear you talk about, what drives consumers to buy things. I'm fascinated by that. So just like, and maybe answer it with when you started your business and you went out to go pitch companies, right? And all of that. How did you use psychology in your business?
I feel like psychology is ingrained in everything that we do, just in being a person walking around, right? Like your relationship with your children, with your partner, with your neighbors, right? Like, how do you interact with them? How do you understand their needs, their desires? How are they communicating with you? So I guess psychology to me isn't this like, academic field. When I think of psychology as it applies to my business, creating new relationships with our product suppliers, who we affectionately call our impact partners, psychology is embedded in there because it's like, what do you need for this partnership to succeed, right? Like, what are your constraints? Let me tell you who I am so that you'll be excited about working with me. I'm not here to take away your sales. I'm here to amplify your sales. I'm here to create a new channel of sales and get you and your organization introduced to all of these new customers. So I guess that's a way to think about how psychology comes in. But I think depending on who it is, they might think of it as feeling manipulative, but I don't think of it as being manipulative.
I'm just curious, like, what do you think goes through the mind of a customer that receives one of your boxes, whether it's an employee or, I don't know, a client or whatever, how are they feeling when they open up this box? They don't know what they're getting, right? It's a random box. Does
Yeah.
the packaging say packed with purpose on the outside?
Yeah. Well, I've got to send you a gift, Justin, because then next time you're going to be able to answer the question yourself
Okay.
firsthand. But so first off, yes, as soon as you open the gift, and even before, there's already teasers that are talking about delight and impact, and you being a part of creating, social impact and good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you're already like, what is this thing? And then you open the gift box, and there's the titles of the different types of impact we have, whether it's youth empowerment or health and well-being or workforce development. And then, what's most notable is every person feels like they're part of this ripple effect of doing good, because just by virtue of the fact that you've received this gift, you know that you have contributed to this positive impact. And that really comes through because there's a booklet, an impact booklet in each one of our gifts. It's really artful, it's really visual, and we tell the stories of impact behind our products. And that's what makes people feel, like they're part of this change. And, like the products are wonderful. The brownies taste good. The journals are wonderful. The mugs are functional and work with the coffee. But honestly, the most important thing is telling the story of why the products are special. And that's, there's a lot of like the financials and the inventory management, but the other side of the business
Of course.
is telling the stories, because
Yeah.
that's what makes us different.
For sure. Oh, that's so cool. Makes me think, I bought this vest when I was in Utah visiting my stepson. And
Cotopaxi, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So-
I opened it up and I'm like, there's a handwritten note from some woman that made this vest. I don't know where she was from. But I'm like, that's so cool. And for like 15 seconds, I was like, that was a good buy. I felt good about it. Like it was like, I know it was good.
As you should. And actually, shout out to Davis Smith, who's the founder and CEO of Cotopaxi, who also, he was in the joint program that I did at Wharton. So it's through the Wharton School of Business and the Lauder Institute.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm not sure if it's the same one, but I was planning on going, but my son is going to be in Italy in the fall, so I can't go, but maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, I'm going to go.
All right.
All right. So let's shake it up a little bit. We have a peanut gallery question. What are those pictures behind you? Like, what are those?
Oh, actually,
Those what is that?
So they're beautiful sketches of different flowers. And actually, so my husband and I, we bought those a handful of years ago. We went to it's a fundraising gala here in Chicago by a school that provides artistic programming to Chicago youth. For free, that otherwise would not have the access to have world-class, artists and educators teach them, about the whole world of art. And so it was a beautiful opportunity to support an amazing organization, and also just to see the power of youth that might otherwise not have had the chance to explore their artistic talents, have the opportunity to do so.
Cool. I couldn't make it out what it was.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap up, but I want to ask a little bit about failure and learning, because we all fail as entrepreneurs, and I believe it's a learning experience. So talk to us a little bit about your belief about failure, what you've learned from it, maybe something recent that kind of didn't go the right way, but you're still pushing through.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I probably am failing more than I even realize. And, the more I can learn about others' mistakes, the better I believe I will be able to not fail that hard. There might be missteps, but the failures won't feel so dramatic, because I'll be able to learn from, what others have done wrong. But I'll give you, like the first big failure I had in starting Pack with Purpose was, so I initially launched with an Indiegogo campaign. My twin boys were just born. So they were about 6 weeks old. They were in the NICU. And I had my first employee. And I get a call from the fulfillment center, and the team there is like, you know what? We just got all this granola and something is off. Long story short, we had worked with a local amazing social enterprise, and they, in a very fast turnaround, got all of the granola packaged, but they packaged it while it was still hot in order to meet the timeline that we had provided them. And the consequence was that it basically hardened in transit. It was not edible. Our team thankfully flagged it. We worked with, the founder, and she sent replacements. But my takeaway was we did not understand their constraints, and that this timeline was not going to work for them. So they basically made the timeline that we requested because it was what we needed, but it jeopardized the integrity of the product.
Sure.
So, it could have been much worse, because we could have ended up sending the gifts with a product that was,
Yeah.
it would have been embarrassing to have done that.
Yeah. Cool. How many times have you heard someone say, like, I get these gifts, Leeatt, they're terrible. I get these corporate, they're so bad. So, okay, I'm going to just rant. Some of them are addressed to me with no signature. That's the worst. Like, it's just like imprint card of some whatever firm or whatever. That's a small one. The next one is they're not curated. So like, I love red wine, but I don't drink white wine. So I got a gift of white wine. And like, what am I going to do with that? Or how about they send fruit and I'm out of town, and the fruit that was like, that were like grapes are now prunes because I never got it. So you have such a chance to make an impact with a gift. And we do something in our business, which is not as impactful, if you will, but we interview our clients when we bring them on, and we ask them really, really interesting questions. And then we sprinkle in little gifts based on what their answers are. Like if someone's like, I've always wanted to travel to Japan, we could send them a coffee table book about Japan or something like that. But I really believe in intention with gifts. And when you receive one that's with no intention, it maybe even is worse than not sending the gift at all, especially around Christmas, where I get like 4 cans of chocolate. I'm like, I'm on Weight Watchers right now. Like, what's the deal?
All right. You just said so much. So let me first start off by saying, I always tell people the greatest real estate you have is your gift message card, because you want to express the intention behind your gift. The gift really is not as important as why you're sending it. So don't write a generic message. First of all, have it addressed to the person. So dear Justin, dear Leeatt, dear whoever it might be, right? And most companies, Packed with Purpose included, like you should be able to do that and personalize that.
Sure.
But absolutely let them know why you're sending the gift, whether it's that you value their partnership, whether they've done an amazing job, being part of the team, and that their contributions have really helped the business get to the goals that it wanted to achieve, or whether you're sending it to a prospect and you believe that, your product or service could really enhance what they're trying to, create for the year, whatever it might be. Tell them so that they know, and don't miss out on the opportunity. So that's number one. Number two, on the, on what you just said, so I think it's amazing that you guys are listening to what your clients are saying, and then you're, being really intentional about sending something specific to their needs. If you can do that, you should. In some instances, it is really hard, right? Like, people oftentimes wait to the last minute to send gifts because there's a lot of administrative work. Who are we sending it to? What are their addresses?
Yeah.
What do I want to write in this gift message? And there's just a lot of things to do. Whoever you are, whatever your focus is, there's a lot to accomplish. And so sending gifts oftentimes doesn't hit number one on the priority list.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I can empathize with whoever's tasked with sending a gift. It is hard to personalize every gift. But, to counter that, I would say if you articulate why you've sent a gift in a way that is authentic and meaningful to you and should resonate with the recipient, then even if each gift isn't personalized, it will be well received.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, It's been so good having you on. I could ask you another 12,000 questions, but we'll call it a day for now. Where can we send people, Leeatt, to learn more about Pack with Purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to packedwithpurpose.gifts, our website. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Leeatt Rothschild, and would love to connect with anyone and engage in any way possible.
Amazing. So your website URL was packedwithpurpose dot
Gifts, GIFTS.
okay, dot gifts. Okay, great. All right. Thank you for coming on. It's been great. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Justin.
Have a question? Want to get in touch with us? Need some help and advice with your finances? Just go to coolmoneyshow.com and reach out to us. That's coolmoneyshow.com.
Krane Financial Solutions is an SEC registered investment advisor. However, such registration does not imply a certain level of skill or training, and no inference to the contrary should be made. A copy of our current written disclosure statement discussing our advisory services and fees is available upon request. Information contained herein is for informational and illustrative purposes only and general in nature. It should not be considered specific financial planning or investment advice, or a recommendation to buy or sell any type of securities or other investment products. No investment decision should be made based solely on any information provided herein. We do not provide legal, accounting, or tax services. We recommend that all investors seek out the services of competent professionals in any of the aforementioned areas. Certain information provided has been obtained from third-party sources that we believe reliable. However, it's not been independently verified and is not guaranteed.